everyone, and welcome back to He Speaks. I am so happy you're here with us today because this episode, I'm just going to say it right now, this episode is going to completely change how you think about one of the most confusing parts of English.
Hey, welcome. And if you've ever sent a message in English and then stared at it thinking, wait, is it in the morning or at the morning? This episode is literally made for you.
You know what's funny? I used to think prepositions were just small, harmless words. In, on, at, for. How hard can they be, right? And then I tried to actually use them in real conversations, and I realized these tiny words have an enormous amount of power.
Exactly. And the tricky thing about prepositions is that they don't always follow logical rules. They're connected to usage, to habit, to how English has evolved over hundreds of years, which means the best way to learn them is through real conversations. Not lists, not memorization, conversations.
And that's exactly what today's episode is. By the end of this, you're going to know 33 essential English prepositions, how they work, when to use them, and most importantly, how real people use them every single day in places like New York, London, and Toronto.
Here's a question before we start. What's the preposition mistake you make most often? Is it in versus on? Is it at versus to? Drop your answer in the comments right now. We read every single one, and your answer might actually help someone else watching.
And hey, please hit that like button and subscribe to He Speaks. We upload every single day, so there's always a fresh episode waiting for you.
Okay, 33 prepositions, real conversations, and a whole lot of clarity. Let's get into it.
All right, section 1. We're starting with the big three: in, on, and at. These are the prepositions that learners use the most, confuse the most, and once they get right, feel the most confident about. Let's start with in. The core idea behind in is that something is enclosed or contained, inside a space, inside a time period. Structure for place: in plus enclosed space. She's in the kitchen. He works in an office in London. I'm in a meeting.
For time, in is used with longer periods. Months, years, seasons, and parts of the day except night. In January, in 2019, in the summer, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Notice, we say in the morning, but at night. That's one of those quirky English rules that just needs to be remembered. At night is its own fixed expression.
Here's a real conversation example. Anna is talking to her colleague James in a cafe in San Francisco. James asks, "When did you move here?" Anna says, "I moved here in March, actually, in 2022. I was in New York before that." 3 uses of in 3 sentences. All correct, all natural.
Now, on. The core idea of on is surface contact. Something is resting on top of something else, or connected to something. For place, the book is on the table. There's a cafe on the corner. I saw it on TV. She's on the phone.
For time, on is used with specific days and dates. On Monday, on the 15th of June, on Christmas Day, on my birthday. Specific day, use on.
Quick memory trick. Think of it this way. Days have a surface. They're individual, specific, like a flat date on a calendar. So you put things on them. Months and years are bigger containers, so things go in them.
Can you try this one? If someone asks, "When's your birthday?" what preposition do you use? My birthday is on the 3rd of April. On, because it's a specific date. Say that sentence out loud with your own birthday. Go on.
And at. At is for precise points, a specific location or a specific time. For place, I'm at the airport. She's at the doctor. Meet me at the coffee shop on 5th Avenue. precise locations, exact points. For time, at 3 o'clock, at noon, at midnight, at the weekend. This one's British English. Americans say on the weekend. Both are correct, just different.
Here's the difference in one sentence. I work in an office. General, enclosed space. I work at Google. Specific organization, precise point. I work on the 12th floor. Surface, specific level. All three prepositions, all three meanings, one topic. Work.
Quick recap of Section 1. In for enclosed spaces and longer time periods. On for surfaces and specific days or dates. At for precise points in place and time. These three alone cover maybe 60% of all preposition usage in everyday English. Lock them in, and you've already won half the battle.
Building right on what we just learned, let's move into Section 2. Prepositions of movement and direction. These are the prepositions that describe where something is going. And once you understand these, you'll be able to describe any journey, any action, any movement in English with total clarity.
And these come up constantly in real conversation. Constantly. Especially when you're giving directions, telling a story, or describing your commute.
Let's start with to. To is the most fundamental direction preposition. It means movement toward a destination. I'm going to London. She walked to the store. He drove to the airport. The key thing about to is that it implies arrival. You're going somewhere, and you're going to get there.
Now, here's a comparison that trips people up. To versus towards. Towards means movement in a direction, but not necessarily reaching the destination. She walked towards the window. She moved in that direction, but maybe she stopped before she got there. She walked to the window. She arrived at the window. Small word, big difference.
Real life situation. David is giving his friend directions in New York. He says, walk towards the park, then turn left at the corner and go to the building on Fifth Avenue. Two prepositions. Towards for general direction, to for the final destination. That's exactly how native speakers use them.
From. This is the starting point preposition, the origin. She's from Canada. He flew here from London. I got this from a shop on Oxford Street. From and to are natural partners, from A to B, start point to end point. I commute from Brooklyn to Manhattan every day. Clean, clear, natural.
First tip for this section. From is also used to show the source of something, not just physical origin. I heard it from James. She learned English from a podcast. This recipe is from my grandmother. Source, origin, that's from. Second tip, into versus in. In is static. You're already inside. Into is movement. You're entering. She's in the room. She's already there. She walked into the room. She entered it. Movement versus state. Third tip, out of is the partner to into. Movement from inside to outside. He ran out of the building. She took the keys out of her bag. If into is entering, out of is exiting.
Let me give you a full mini story using all of these. Matilda leaves her apartment in London. She walks out of her building towards the tube station, gets onto the train, travels from London Bridge to Victoria, then walks to her office. Every single preposition in that story describes a movement. Every single one is exactly right.
Now I want you to write a sentence in the comments. Describe your morning commute or journey, even if it's just from your bedroom to your kitchen. Use at least two prepositions from this section. I walked from, to, or I went into. Go for it. Let's lock in Section 2. To for movement toward a destination. Towards for direction without guaranteed arrival. From for starting points and sources.
into for entering a space, out of for leaving a space. These are the building blocks of describing any movement in English.
Okay, section 3. And this is the one that I think is most underrated when it comes to preposition teaching. Prepositions of time. Beyond just in, on, and at. Because there's a whole world of time prepositions that make your English sound incredibly sophisticated when you use them correctly.
Yes, and these are the ones that show up in stories, in explanations, in emotional conversations. These are the prepositions that add depth to what you're saying.
Let's start with before and after. These are time sequencing prepositions. They put events in order. Before the meeting, I had a coffee. After dinner, we went for a walk. Call me before noon. She arrived after everyone else. The structure is simple. Before or after, plus a time reference or event.
Here are more detailed examples with context. James has an interview in Toronto. He says, I want to prepare everything the night before. And after the interview, I'm going to treat myself to a really good lunch. 2 prepositions, 1 sentence pair. Totally natural.
During. This one means throughout a period of time, while something else is happening. During the meeting, his phone kept ringing. I fell asleep during the movie. She studied in New York during the summer. During answers the question when by pointing to an ongoing event or period, not a specific clock time. If you can say in the middle of, you can usually say during.
For versus since. Oh, this is a big one. These two are so commonly confused. For is used with a duration of time, a length. I've lived here for 3 years. She studied for 2 hours. He waited for 45 minutes. Since is used with a starting point in time. I've lived here since 2021. She's been studying since this morning. He's been waiting since noon.
The trick? Ask yourself, am I saying how long something lasted? Use for. Am I saying when something started? Use since. For 3 years. That's a length. Since 2021. That's a starting point. Same situation, completely different information.
Let's do an interactive practice right here. I'll give you the time information and you choose. For or since. Ready? 2 hours. That's a length, so you say for 2 hours. Last Monday. That's a starting point, so you say since last Monday. 6 months. Length, for 6 months. This morning. Starting point, since this morning.
Can you feel the pattern? Length gets for. Starting point gets since. Say both out loud. I've been learning English for 6 months. I've been learning English since January. Both sentences. Say them. Let your mouth get used to the difference.
Let's also quickly cover until and by. Until means up to a point in time and then stopping. I worked until midnight. She'll be here until Friday. Wait until I get back. By means no later than, the deadline. I need this done by 5 p.m. She has to leave by tomorrow. The report must be submitted by Friday.
One more. Throughout. This means from the beginning to the end of a period, without stopping. Throughout the year, she never missed a single class. He stayed calm throughout the entire presentation. It's a more formal word, but it's beautiful when you use it correctly.
All right, section 3 locked in. Before and after for sequence, during for parallel events, for duration, since for starting points, until for up to a point, by for deadlines, throughout for the full span of a period. These time prepositions are going to make your storytelling in English so much richer.
Okay, real talk. Mistakes time. And listen, Preposition mistakes are some of the most common errors that even very advanced English learners make. So there is absolutely zero embarrassment here. I've made all of these.
All of them. Every single one. And knowing why they're wrong makes it so much easier to fix them.
Mistake number 1. I am waiting since 1 hour. This one comes up so often. The error is using since with a duration. Remember, since needs a starting point, not a length of time. The correct sentence is I have been waiting for 1 hour, or I have been waiting since 1 o'clock. Duration gets for. Specific point in time gets since.
Incorrect. I am waiting since 1 hour. Correct. I've been waiting for 1 hour. Say the correct version out loud right now. I've been waiting for 1 hour. Let it sit in your mouth. Feel how natural it is.
Mistake number 2. I will meet you at Monday. Oh, this one. At is for precise clock times and locations, not for days. Days of the week use on. The correct sentence is I will meet you on Monday. Specific day, always on.
And here's the fun part. If you add a time to that sentence, you use both prepositions. I will meet you on Monday at 3 p.m. On for the day, at for the clock time. 2 prepositions, 1 sentence, both perfectly placed.
Mistake number 3. She explained me the problem. Now this one is interesting because explain is one of those verbs that does not take an indirect object directly. You can't explain someone something in English. You explain something to someone. So she explained me the problem is wrong. The correct form is she explained the problem to me. The preposition to is essential here.
Other verbs that work the same way: describe, suggest, mention, introduce. You don't suggest me an idea. You suggest an idea to me. You don't introduce me him. You introduce him to me. Keep the preposition in there.
Mistake number 4. I arrived to London yesterday. This is a very common one. In English, you arrive in a city, country, or large area. You arrive at a specific building or place, but you never arrive to anywhere. I arrived in London. She arrived at the hotel. We arrived at the airport, not arrived to.
Think of it this way. To is for the journey. In and at are for the arrival. Once you've arrived, to has done its job. It's gone. You're now in or at the place.
Mistakes are proof that you're trying, and trying is exactly how you get better. Every error you correct is one step closer to natural, fluent English. You're doing this. We believe in you completely.
And honestly, the people who are afraid to make mistakes are the ones who don't improve. The people who make mistakes, notice them, and correct them, those are the ones who become fluent. Be that person.
Interactive practice time. Choose the better sentence. Think before you answer. Ready? Situation 1. You want to describe where you live. Option A, I live in a small apartment at New York. Option B, I live in a small apartment in New York.
Option B, in New York. Because New York is a city, a large enclosed area. We're in cities. At New York is incorrect. You'd use at for a specific address or building, like at 42nd Street.
Situation 2. You're talking about how long you've been studying English. Option A, I've been studying English since 3 years. Option B, I've been studying English for 3 years.
Option B, for 3 years. That's a duration, a length of time. Since needs a starting point, like a year or date, not a length. For 3 years is clean and correct.
Say it out loud. I've been studying English for 3 years. Or use your real number. I've been studying English for 6 months.
Say it.
Situation 3. Your friend tells you about arriving somewhere. Option A, I arrived to the airport at 6 a.m. Option B, I arrived at the airport at 6 a.m.
Option B. I arrived at the airport. The airport is a specific location, so we use at. And arrived at is the correct combination. Never arrived to.
Situation 4. When did something happen? Option A, she called me on the morning. Option B, she called me in the morning.
Option B. Parts of the day, morning, afternoon, evening, use in. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. The only exception is night, at night.
Now here is your challenge. Write one sentence in the comments using any preposition from today's episode. Just one sentence. It can be about your day, your city, your life. Use it. Make it real. Making real sentences is how the language becomes yours.
And remember, a real sentence you actually say is worth 10 perfect sentences you only think about. Use the language. That's the whole point.
Real conversation beats perfect grammar every single time. Always, without exception.
Wow. Okay. 33 prepositions, real conversations, and a full episode of English that I hope genuinely made something click for you. I am so proud of everyone who made it all the way through this one.
Let's do a quick recap of everything we covered today. First, we tackled the big 3. In for enclosed spaces and time periods. On for surfaces and specific days. At for precise points in place and time. Second, we covered movement prepositions. To, towards, from, into, and out of. Third, we explored time prepositions in depth. Before, after, during, for, since, until, by, and throughout.
33 prepositions, real conversations, and now they're yours. That is a genuinely impressive amount of learning in one episode, and you should feel really good about that.
Here's your reflective question. Of all 33 prepositions we covered today, which one do you think you've been using incorrectly? Be honest with yourself. That's where your next breakthrough is hiding.
If this episode helped you, and I really hope it did, please give it a like. Share it with a friend who's learning English. Write your practice sentence in the comments and subscribe to Rahi Speaks. We're here every single day with content made specifically for you.
Learning a language is one of the most courageous things a person can do. You're not just learning grammar, you're building a whole new way to connect with the world. And every preposition you get right is another small bridge between you and the English you want to speak.
Thank you so much for choosing to spend this time with us at Rahi Speaks. Keep going, keep practicing, and never forget, small words, big power.
We'll see you next time.